Ladies and gentlemen,
What are your qualifications?
boys and girls,
And he said, I'm not trained. I used to smoke, but I gave it up because someone told me that it would take 10 years off your life.
now is the time where
And it keeps getting funnier every single time.
myself and Jim are going to speak.
And so the homeowner, he jumps up and he grabs one of the rocks and he
Not again.
there's a it's a walkout. Yeah, right. It's a walkout basement.
Every Friday night.
I hate this neighborhood so much.
Da-da-da!
Well, Jim,
Yeah.
we're back.
Again.
Season 2.
Season 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Is that the title of the season?
All part 2s have to be Electric Boogaloo, and it comes back to back in the 80s. There was a sequel to Breakin', which was a huge hit back when we all wanted to be break dancers, called Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. And so now anything that's part 2 has to be Electric Boogaloo. It's
just how it is.
your Uncle Mike understands.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But no, this is good. This is nice.
It's solid.
Yeah.
I'm excited because we have a very special show that we're hoping to get going
For a special episode
for-
of the movie hour.
not a special so. Well, it might be a special so, but like on the 1 year anniversary of the show, we're hoping to do a Punch Drunk Love special.
Yeah, we're working on some things. We got some work in the works, but you know what? Just being here with you is special.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, man.
Same.
Dude, I'm rested. I'm in a good mood.
You're rested.
I'm rested.
When you wake up this morning?
Well, I woke up about 7:30. Because I'm watching a terrible, hideous,
saw your
worst show
Facebook
ever,
post.
and it's my favorite.
Okay.
The Circle on Netflix. It's just a terrible show.
Is it based off the movie The Circle?
No, it's worse than that.
Okay.
It's basically they put a bunch of people in a house, kind of like Big Brother, only they don't see each other, and all their interactions is based on social media, and they can be whoever they want. They can be themselves or someone else, and
Exciting.
it's all the things that is wrong with America, and I just fascinated by it. But then I went back to sleep, took a couple naps,
Okay.
made a few phone calls, took another nap.
All right.
Because phone calls are exhausting.
Phone calls are exhausting.
Yeah, I'm taking my time off very seriously.
Well, we have a busy show for you today.
For me?
For you specifically, Jim.
Sweet.
We're going to have you go on some runs.
Done. I'll be
And-
right back.
But no, we got to talk about the Oscar nomination.
Oscar!
This is what we built the show
This is
for.
what we all year. This is it, man.
This is the culmination
Now
of 1 year of
Now it's here
the
with
movie
a
hour.
big thud.
Exactly, and you're not happy.
I'm not happy. I'm just not, like I was kind of talking before when we were getting started. I mean, Scorsese's a great director. Scorsese makes great films. But how hard is it directing Al Pacino, Joe Pesci,
and De Niro
De Niro?
in a movie that they've done their entire lives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How hard is it?
I mean, I think that's part of the reason why and we'll get to it, but like that's probably why Robert De Niro didn't get nominated, is because we've seen him do this so many times.
And his scene where he was supposed to be beating that dude up.
He looks like an 80-year-old man.
He looked old.
But so we'll get to that. We also have an awesome opportunity unfortunately, he's super busy.
What, you mean an Oscar-nominated filmmaker couldn't take time out of his schedule?
He's going on Good Morning
What?
America tomorrow. So, I mean, that's kind of, he's kind of a big deal. But you know how funny, like not funny, but interesting it is to kind of go back. And I reposted the podcast and we're talking about Matthew.
Still nobody cares. I think it's hilarious.
Matthew Cherry.
What a great interview.
Yeah, right. When we talked to him about his short film Hair Love,
so humble,
and I
excited.
asked him. I was like, hey, like, do you?
Way back when we were so green.
Yeah,
still.
like, do you want what are the
What are you
chances?
gonna do? You could be nominated for an Oscar.
I called my shot, and 5 months later, here he is, nominated for Best Animated Short in this year's Oscars. He could win.
He might just win it.
So
how cool!
It's awesome.
And I'd like to take full responsibility for his career.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I was sitting next to you when you took the phone call.
And we pushed him and asked him what's next.
What's next?
Yeah. And
Oscar, sir.
Obviously, he didn't tell us, but
he should be hiring us any time now, right?
He should be getting back to us.
We should at least get a cut.
Definitely.
Jeez, jerk.
But yeah, he's the second athlete to ever be nominated for an Oscar. Him and Kobe Bryant.
Kobe won though.
Yeah, Kobe did win, but who knows? He might be the second one.
Kobe's a winner. That
And
sucks. I hate the Lakers.
if you haven't seen Hair Love yet, you can find it
free.
easy. Yeah,
It's
free.
online. It's on YouTube.
You can just search Hair Love. It's 7 minutes. It's nice.
There was, like I told you, I was the young girl that was with my friend when I went to a meeting. She was reading the book.
Yeah, my sister-in-law Caitlin rented it at the library.
Rented the book, huh?
Yeah, she's so it's a fairly successful book too. I think he's also a New York Times bestseller now.
Look at that! I ever tell you the story when I got in an argument with one of my son's teachers over Where the Wild Things Are?
No,
because the movie was coming out. She had this stuff all over her walls, and Talon was young at the time, and I just said, "Are you excited for the movie to come out?" And she looked at me and she goes, "They didn't really follow the book.
the book's like 7 pages long.
It's 12 pages,
Okay,
and there's one line per page."
Okay.
And that was exactly where my head goes. Is I was like, "It's 12 pages. It's 12 lines of dialogue. What do you mean? It's a 2-hour movie."
I really like this other character that they
Right.
really didn't flesh out well enough.
They really didn't. I just
Didn't
feel
flesh it
I
out
feel
the
like
way the book did.
could have gone. And as soon as I started getting into it, that's when Talon's mom's like,
Shut up, Jim. God, it's not that important.
I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with people?
But yeah, so we'll get into all that. But yeah, we'll keep tabs. Maybe I'll keep pestering Matthew. Maybe we can get him on at some
like I said,
other time.
Get that interview, man. Get it. You tell him he's responsible. He owes it to
He
us.
owes it because we gave him the
we
idea.
gave him the
Do you-
idea of winning an Oscar.
Do you know the movie we watched that day when we interviewed him?
No.
I believe that was when we watched Lobster.
Yeah.
I think so.
You know, I actually don't tell him this, but I actually still like Lobster more than Hair Love.
Oh, well, Lobster is a movie, whereas Hair Love is an animated short.
Yeah, I know.
Weird.
I just felt they could have followed the book more. It's just,
Funny.
I don't know. I understand artists.
We're taking liberties. But we'll get into the Oscar nominations.
This is weird, dude. We're like already on. We're like ahead of time.
Yeah, it was 7 minutes early.
I'm rested.
Yeah, it's an odd feeling.
Jeez, we should do something. Start over.
Start over?
Just
all right.
jump
toss.
it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll play
Go back to the old ways. Back to season 1 ways.
season 1 ways of we just didn't know what we were doing and took like 10 tries to start the podcast.
Yeah.
But so
To hit play.
yeah, that was we've come so far.
We do need to do new opening notes time.
Yeah, I'll get working on that.
Yeah, get on that.
I'm sorry.
What do you have nothing else to do?
Exactly.
In
right.
between my naps, I'll give you notes.
All right, that works. But before we get into Oscar nominations, I think we should just jump right into our movies. Let's talk about what we watched this week.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into our challenges after. So what movies have you watched?
I caught up. I got Bombshell in.
Okay. What is it? Is it like Vice?
No, that's my issue with it. Is it seems now like every year now there's a movie like it. There's the big controversial.
It's definitely leaning one way.
Yeah, and it's completely whatever agenda you're with. Yeah, it definitely has its own what side it lies on. But I mean, every year, even all the way down to what was the Michael Keaton one that was like won Best Picture, like
Birdman.
Not Birdman, the one after that, the year after that,
Spotlight,
same kind of thing. It was like
if you're a huge Catholic Church supporter, then you're like.
But it's just kind of the same. It's a formulaic movie about it's an event and like I said, when you guys were talking about, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And they're like, well, no, about the whole thing at Fox. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I mean, I kind of heard that stuff, but I didn't really know because I don't follow that kind of stuff. And I'm glad I knew the story. I know one side of the story big time.
Yeah.
But there were some good actors in it. But was it a movie that I'd go, oh, you got to go see Bombshell? And there's 2 actors nominated for.
And Margot Robbie and I don't think did Charlize get nominated?
I don't know if it's Charlize, but I thought I saw 2 names from Bombshell.
I know Margot got nominated, but I don't know
and she's good. But like that's my problem, and we'll get to it later. But that's my whole problem this year is they really could have gotten some fresh faces.
Charlize did get nominated.
They could have got some fresh faces, some fresh filmmakers, some fresh films in the mixed, and instead it's like it's not even like they're good movies. Don't get me wrong. And then people are like, I'm sorry you didn't like the movie. No, I liked the movies. I liked all of them, but except for Marriage Story. But but they don't seem like a new like Best Picture. It's so a rehash. It's
Well,
I've seen
Bombshell
it-
wasn't nominated for Best Picture though.
No, but it's the actors.
yeah.
I mean, if you just look, I mean, once you get to that, I just talking about look who's nominated, all the way down to Tom Hanks.
Yep.
Was not his best performance.
No. Well, this is his first nomination since 2002, which is weird.
When has he ever even been nominated for Best Supporting before?
I don't think Tom Hanks has been a supporting actor
Right.
until now.
And since Turner and Hooch,
Yeah.
get it? Because Hooch would have been because Hooch kind of stole that movie and your heart.
Yes.
You ever seen Turner
I
and
don't.
Hooch?
I
Dude,
don't.
Turner and Hooch, man. You ask anyone, like that's Tom Hanks' one where he goes, I got so much crap for that movie, but dude, I acted my butt off in that movie. You have to deal with a dog all day. How much of that was difficult?
But so Bombshell.
Bombshell is okay.
You-
So it's so knowing nothing about it, knowing that there was a problem with sexual harassment, which is we know this is a problem, yes, and it needs to go away. And it kind of tells the story of how it all kind of came down. And Margot Robbie plays the new up and comer who basically does she want to move up? Here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Everyone else in front of you's done it. And then you have the old Miss Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. She's like the one that is leaving at the beginning of the movie. She's getting forced out because she's now too old.
Yeah.
So it's just the changing of the guard, and she's suing the new guard, and then it just turns into which I thought was funny because Bill Riley and they call him Mr. Legs, the head of Fox, the ones that they actually end up firing and putting all the disgrace on. Their settlement to make them go away was they gave them more money than the lawsuit that was filed against them that they had to settle for the infraction in the first place is less money than what they paid Bill Riley and that guy to go away.
Huh.
Yeah.
So all right, interesting.
That's to me is a more interesting story.
Yeah. And then so I don't know if I'll catch Bombshell. It's one of those
It'll be
movies.
on HBO in 4 months. Just wait.
Okay, and anything else you watch?
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to think along the lines of here. I've got Parasite. I'm gonna watch that probably either tonight or tomorrow.
It's digital now.
It's digital.
You can get it.
So now, because before all the other copies didn't have
Subtitles.
The subtitles wouldn't come through. Yeah. So because that's a problem with screeners or anything like that. They don't come over very well. So. Not the illegal versions, because those I don't speak Korean yet, but I'm working on it. But yeah, no. Other than that, I did watch the movies that we had, but that was the only one that's really on the radar. And then I watched the new series on HBO, Outsiders. That's fascinating.
Cool.
First great episode.
What
about you?
I saw two movies that I really loved. I saw Just Mercy on Friday, which was. And we'll get to it, but I think that Jamie Foxx deserved a supporting actor nomination. I think he was great. And
I have to love the fact that Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, like if you look back at the old In Living Color days, like the other sketch comedy show, and look how many of those guys got nominated for Oscars later.
I'll have to go back and check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie, it's a hard movie to watch. It's heartbreaking.
What's it about?
It's about this guy in Mississippi who got wrongfully accused. It's a true story.
It never happens. Come on.
Wrongfully accused of murder, and then he was being put on the death row for what he did. And then Michael B. Jordan's character is is
that Michael Jordan's kid?
No, he's just
a Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, he's just
because I know Michael Jordan has kids.
Yeah, it's not him.
Okay.
And he's a Harvard graduate. Who his passion for, and he's a lawyer. His passion for is kind of saving these people on death row who he thinks that their lives are worth something, and so he kind of has moved to Mississippi for his firm, and he's just
you must love your work if you're gonna move to Mississippi,
and he's doing it all for free because these people can't
pro bono.
Yeah, they can't pay him obviously, so he's helping all these people on death row. And he just so happens gets to know Jamie Foxx's character, and there's a scene in this movie that is just it's hard to watch.
I imagine it's a lot hard to watch. It doesn't sound like a uplifting. When you're dealing with good time
when you're dealing with death row. Yeah, definitely. There's a scene
and to be there wrongfully.
Yeah,
oh, dude, that sucks.
Well, there's that, and then but there's some people that they did do bad things, and they're there for. There's just some things that you when you're dealing with death row and what usually comes from death row. There may be.
We're not talking about the death row records.
Yeah,
talking.
There may be a
Dr.
scene
Troy.
involving what happens to people on death row, and it is so hard to watch that you're just kind of like my sister and I. We watched it, Tamby, and she was just she lost it. It was
She's like Little Women. I'm gonna go watch Little Women again.
Yeah. And so yeah, I saw that. I liked it a lot. It was one of those movies that you're just like. It gets you in the feels.
I only got a few left. That's on the short list.
And then I went and saw 1917 Saturday.
I did see 1917.
So good.
Okay, I did see 1917. That's the other one. I was like, I
You
swear I saw
You haven't
something
posted
else.
anything about it, so.
Yeah, because I wanted to wait till today.
Okay.
Again, same problem I have. It's not even the best one-take movie that's been made.
Well, Birdman's really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's not the best war movie ever made.
Yeah,
There's
because.
no acting accolades to back me up on that one.
Well, I don't think that was the whole point of. Like, that's
What was
kind
the
of,
point?
Well, it's the day in the life of a soldier saving thousands.
It's an anti-war film. It's to show
that
you how
too, yeah.
much it sucks.
Yeah.
Just all the dead bodies everywhere. And I mean, it was cool, but I was rather bored by it.
So I was fascinated.
Yeah.
George McKay was great.
Yeah. And he's the one that
He's the one
okay.
that you see in the trailers running and stuff like that.
The running guy.
The guy from
and there are
Mr.
some,
Fantastic.
There are some fantastic moments. And as a matter of fact, just because I'm watching it and I'd see him, because you kind of start watching the camera and say, okay, how are they getting from here to there to there? And then you're starting to figure out, okay, so how'd they do that? How'd they do this? And then you realize the trenches is probably the easiest part to shoot because
it's so dark.
All the rigs are up on top, obviously, so they can just carry the camera down inside.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how are they getting through there? And then I'm like, oh, that's got to be up there. Okay, that's and they dug out like a mile of trenches.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get into the house, that broken down house that they get to where they find the milk.
Yep.
And you like get up to a window. I'm like, okay, how are they getting through the window?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of good. And you can tell like you see a tree and it goes the full frame, and then the tree, and you can kind of see like. That's where they're cutting. Yeah. They're using digital effects.
You're looking like, oh, that'd be probably a good spot to stop.
Yep.
Going around the mountain there.
Yep.
Probably a good part to stop.
Yep.
That would suck to have to go back to one.
It's like, all right, we're doing it from the start, and then you get to the very end scene, you're like, line.
How long did they shoot that movie? And every day you've got to walk 5 miles.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
2 hours.
But
it was good, and I feel bad because when I bring up my issues with a lot of the movies, that people are like, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't like it." No, I did like it.
Yeah,
I just wasn't like it wasn't.
It was just
wasn't the best war movie. It wasn't the best usage of one take. It wasn't the best.
And I'll be honest, I haven't seen many war movies in my life. Granted, and then I'll preface this by saying most of them are rated R.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to watch rated R movies growing up, so I have a lot to catch up on. So that kind of thing is like it's new to me and most of the time. But
just seeing dead bodies floating in the water everywhere,
and that's
so gross.
It's very relevant right now.
They had to tell the locals, like, because I always read about it, and I'm like, they had to tell locals because that set, you can imagine how big it was.
Yeah,
and they'd have to let people know, like, if you see dead bodies, just don't be alarmed. It's okay.
They're props.
Yeah,
right.
Don't be alarmed.
That's what I tell people too. Like, if you see a dead body, don't be.
It's just Jim. He had a
an
late night.
Alarm.
He's in one of his moods.
It's just a mannequin. Yeah. But no, the progression of the story, I think, is the most important part, because
gotta get there.
Because they start off. I thought that these two were just really good friends, but no, he was just like a random
dude. He's sitting next to him.
Yeah, he's all right. You're coming with me, and then he gets thrust into this kind of I have to save.
Yeah, you got to finish.
60,000.
He's there like, dude, why don't we wait till night, dude?
Yeah, he was like, why do we have to go now? And it's a good thing that he did.
It was just because they're like, that's where the German front line's supposed to be, and that was kind of the whole thing. Is like it's fake. And these guys, they don't know that, and they don't know that they're walking into a trap that isn't the front line anymore, and it's moved. And so if that was incorrect, they would have found that out like real quick.
They would have died.
But for such an important mission, why only 2 dudes?
It's because and they kind of say, because if they
try to,
they say if there's many people, something can go wrong.
What's wrong with 5?
Maybe that's fair, but
like
I remember seeing it because they kind of pointed. It's like
2 dudes.
I feel like it's like Frodo and Sam.
Yeah.
Like going.
But
down.
even they had the other little hobbits with them. The little hobbits is
But then they split off in to go.
eventually
They split off on their own because they knew.
and that's fine. I would have been fine if they would have started with 4
Yeah.
and split off into whatever it turned into. I don't want to
Yeah.
give anything at that nature away of it, what happens, but because I think that's important how it all kind of goes down. But 2, man, like for such an important 1,700 people are going to die.
That's true.
2 dudes.
Yep.
And the whole point is, get there, your brother dies.
How many? There were like it was interesting how many big actors were side characters,
little characters.
Like I don't. Did you ever watch Sherlock?
Oh, love Sherlock.
So
just got done watching Dracula. They just did Dracula, the Bram Stoker's Dracula. The same guys that did Sherlock just did Dracula. It's on Netflix.
It seemed
same
like
thing.
It seemed like
3
like
episodes.
most of the people in Sherlock showed up because Moriarty. He was the
Benedict
commanding
was there.
officer there that was kind of teasing them.
Yep.
Like, oh, you're gonna just go up there and get shot. But if you have the flare, make sure right as soon as you die, you throw it back because we don't want to go get it.
Yep. A lot of F-bombs.
A lot of F-bombs. You got Colin Firth at the very beginning. You had Mark Strong in there.
Mark Strong.
And then obviously the 2 characters that were. Did you know the brother is
Captain
Tommen,
Fantastic.
is Tommen from Game of Thrones?
Okay, yeah, he's the little brother, isn't he?
Yeah.
And as soon as you said that, that does.
And who his older brother ends up being.
Because I was just making a meme.
Funny.
I was just making a meme for because I was talking which list you like better, and the one list had John Wick on it, the other list didn't, and people were picking the other list, and I'm all like, "What do you got against John Wick?" And they're all like, they said something, and so I'm like, why isn't anyone like, he started it, the dude, the little puppy killer. So I made a little picture of that dude that kills the puppy and says wanted for killing a puppy. I was like trying to put that together. I'm like, why isn't there more of an outrage? I mean, look at what he started.
Well, and to kind of on this whole, and we'll talk about your Facebook post here in a second. But
talking Facebook.
The actor
the little brother, that is who he is, and he finally gets to be king, and then just steps out of the building.
Yep, Dean Charles Chapman.
That is him.
Dean Charles Chapman. He was also in my favorite movie of the year, Blinded by the Light. So and I had no idea that this kid was Tommen.
Then the older brother that was in The Dark Knight, the Joffrey.
Yeah,
he went.
I remember.
He stepped back out of it.
I remember that.
He got into the limelight and was, I don't like it.
Yeah, because everyone was terrified and hated him. And it's
don't blame him.
No spoilers, but it's funny who the older brother ends up being in 1917. Yeah, because it is who he is.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, and I recognized him right away.
Yeah, King of the North,
the Red Wedding.
But and ever since I watched
and
Mr.
the other brother is
Mr. Fantastic. Well, it's not the brother, but the guy, the soldier.
But in Mr. Fantastic, he was the older brother.
Yeah,
and he was really good in that, and I'd never seen him before.
Exactly, and I was like, I remember watching it, I was fascinated by it. I was like, I like this guy, this actor.
Good.
And then he shows up in this, and I was like,
good.
I really liked him. And,
I like him.
And I tweeted it out, but I could have watched 2 hours of George McKay just running. It was,
I guess a lot of that
chaos
that wasn't blocked out for him when he would run into people and fall over.
It was just that them running into him.
You get back into your mark. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, what do you do? And then, but a lot of that time that just works. But so when you watch that and you see him like just run, I mean,
avoiding people, running into people, and falling. Yeah, and
they're running that way. He's running this way. I mean, I like the movie. I do like the movie.
So I could see this probably 2 or 3 more times until they're fine with it.
I would watch it, and I would watch it 2 or 3 more times. But it wasn't. I'd rather watch Saving Private Ryan if you want to talk good war movies.
Yeah, those are some of the greatest ones.
Well, they're about to try to give it, if it wins Best Picture. Well, why isn't it on that level?
Well, I think it's mainly for cinematic reasons for that. I mean, like, it's the one-shot whole thing.
Yeah, but it's not the only movie to do that.
But it's the only one to do it in an action movie.
True.
Whereas Birdman is it's a
and they didn't even really point out that they were doing it.
Yeah,
like if you watch Birdman, you kind of just notice, you're like, this seems like it's all like
been
a long take.
Yeah, it's like they're not taking a break, are they?
This kind of keeps going, doesn't it?
It's really impressive.
It was like, what is Birdman? So. And my favorite Oscar moment, if you watch the Oscars that year, when they show, because Michael Keaton's up for Best Actor, he was so convinced that he was going to win.
He had pulled his notes out, and then Eddie Redmayne won.
Yeah,
I remember that one. Because I had only seen Eddie Redmayne's movie. Oh heavens,
the Dutch
where he was Stephen Hawking.
The Theory of Nothing.
Theory of Everything. And I remember those.
He's a great actor.
The only ones that I had seen.
He's a great actor, but he bugs the crap out of me, man.
Like, because he talks weird.
I don't know what it is, and I like the Harry Potters. I like the Wilder, or where to find them.
Yeah, Fantastic Beasts.
But I don't know what it is. I just want to punch that dude. I don't know why.
All right. You're just an angry person.
Bugs me. No, it's not even that. He just bugs me, and maybe it's just because he was so pretty in the when he played the woman. He does anything. He just gets nominated. And I don't know. I just
him and Timothy Chalamet are boasting a very good young career.
Right? It would have been a good year to bring in some, just even one or two of them. A woman director, a different. It's just it's such a rehash this year, and I feel bad because people are like, I can't believe. I'm like, I do like these movies. It's just it would have been so easy.
I just don't like
one of them in.
And here's the thing: the 5 directors that they did nominate, I think that they do deserve it in a way, but like it's hard to. I don't like having all these negative conversations because if they would have replaced Todd Phillips with Greta Gerwig, it would be totally fine.
Put in one of the or the Safdie brothers,
Yeah.
or like. So when I finally last week, remember I kept saying I forgot someone directed one of these big movies, and it was directed by nobody.
Yeah,
it's Peanut Butter Falcon. Tyler Nilsson and Michael Schwartz directed Peanut Butter Falcon, and you look up their filmography of like what else they've done. Nothing.
It's their first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing.
Yeah, and even Honey Boy's director too. She did a good job.
You pull it up. It was Party Guy at Identity Theft. They directed Peanut Butter Falcon. Before that, Alex Honnold at Home Off the Wall, a documentary short, and then he was an actor in a Dewey Cox Walk Hard. The Dewey, like that's
it.
That's it. And so I'm like, and I kept trying to say I can't remember who they were, but I'm like, this could have been a year they could have just. Before
we get into the Oscars, let's talk about our movies,
yes.
and then we'll get into the Oscar conversation. I watched Chef yesterday.
Chefy?
And it's the second time I've seen it.
A lot of F-bombs.
I like Chef a lot.
I forgot how many F-bombs there were.
It's such a fun movie.
It's molten!
Yeah. Every time I see it, I think of McClane. But
I picked a good monologue for him, didn't I?
Yeah,
it worked.
It was interesting. And I just... A, it makes me hungry.
Yep.
B,
it does, right?
Yeah.
And wanted me to try some Cuban food.
Yeah, right. And drop everything and just become a chef.
And you know that movie what it was. It was just like, hey man, Leguizamo, let's go get paid to drive around and eat for the next
few months because it's written and directed from Jon Favreau, and he's an excellent chef himself. So this is just a kind of a passion thing from him. And it's funny is that. Like
Scarlett Johansson's in it.
I love how because Jon Favreau, he's a decent looking dude.
Dennis Hoffman's in it.
But do you think that Jon Favreau is attractive enough to wed Sofia Vergara and then in bed Scarlett Johansson?
No. He and I understand cooking does go a long way. Jon Favreau himself, yes.
Yeah.
But
the guy?
Jon Favreau, if he was just a chef.
That guy?
Nuh-uh.
No. Right? I was just like, watching it. There's no way. No way he comes close. No way he comes close to Sofia Vergara.
Let's see. Do I want Starks or do I want Robert Downey Jr. or do I want?
He's in that.
Yeah. Or do I want? And he. I mean, but at the same time, it's a good movie and.
I like Sofia Vergara.
She's great.
Yeah, she's really good.
And the little kid's awesome.
Yeah, he's really good too. And it's funny how outdated he's good in it. It's funny how outdated this movie is
already dated
because of Twitter. And it has Vine, and Vine's gone.
And there's a couple other things that they do, and you can kind of pick out now when I didn't before a lot of the ad libbing that they would do.
Yeah.
And then you could see the little kid trying to do it with them.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, this kid's trying.
Yeah, but overall. Though I think it's still a fun movie.
It's fun, yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah, and I'm glad I got to go back.
Amazon Prime.
I told you I've been wanting to watch it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. So if you want a good 2 hours, be careful. There is some language, but it is fun. In that scene where he confronts the film critic, and talking about how bad it hurts to write that stuff.
True, yeah.
And he's talking about, you don't even know what molten lava cake is. And he's like, you're not going to get to me.
And it just goes viral. It's molten. It's good.
It's a good story.
And
it's not gonna reinvent the wheel of how to make movies, but it's a fun hour. I mean, what is it? 95 minutes.
Yeah, I watched it about an hour and 40 minutes, maybe.
And it goes quick.
Oh yeah, you don't even notice.
Yeah.
I had there are moments. The thing with watching movies at home is that I get so attached to my phone that I kind of have to throw it to the side.
Well, I get in trouble. People are like, "Are you going to watch this?" Because I'm actually on IMDb or I'm
trying to find who the person
Wikipedia,
is,
and I'm looking at trivia and I'm looking at
which
backstory,
which is what not is not all that, but which is nice about Amazon Prime is if you pause,
it'll bring that stuff up. For people like me.
Yeah, this movie's on Amazon Prime.
And
it used to be on Netflix, but now it's on Amazon.
Why aren't you
Prime.
watching the movie? I'm like, I'm reading about the movie.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. It's a good time.
Good call.
I didn't watch 2049. I've seen it, but I didn't get back to it. I bought the 3-pack bundle because I noticed on Vudu or on iTunes or whatever it was $24 for the original Blade Runner, the final cut in 2007, and then 2049. So I was like, all right, I'll buy them all because I started watching. I saw the first one, but I was on my phone the entire time when I first watched it.
Do you know the story of why there's 3 cuts of? Actually, there's probably 7 cuts of the first one, but do you know why there's 3 official cuts?
I understand is because the first one wasn't it had so much top down stuff put on it. Like a lot of people just didn't let the director, top of my head,
Ridley Scott
do his thing.
He got his movie taken away from him. This is like back in the time when Ridley Scott, before he was Ridley Scott,
Aliens.
they took his movie from him.
Alien, yeah, and so then
he
became Ridley Scott, and then he released what he.
Well, then the second version, they're calling the director's cut, which isn't the director's cut. They actually brought in a voiceover element to it with Harrison Ford, who people are claiming Harrison Ford sandbagged because he didn't want to do it. He's like, I like the movie the way it was, and then the actual director's cut is the final cut.
The final cut, the one that I bought. I think I've seen the director's cut because I remember when I watched it. I remember when I watched it the first time. I was like, "This is odd. I don't understand what's happening." And then this new one that I just,
but I like it. But do I like it? Do I?
But like I said, I was on my phone the entire time, so I completely missed it. And then this new one that I bought, it doesn't have that, and I'm just sitting watching it. But anyway, so I bought that, and I'm just because a half hour into the first, in a half hour through the final cut of the Blade Runner.
Good. Well, then finish it because I want to go through it more because this is the first time that I've watched the final cut in a few years now since I bought it. Probably close to 2007, and I was watching that before. But you even said we were picking the new Blade Runner, and I was just going back through it. And this is by far more. Did I follow along the Rutger Hauer character that I've not before? He was just scary and intimidating to me.
Yeah.
This time through, he made a lot of sense to me.
Which one is he again?
He's the blonde bad guy. He's
in the first one.
Yeah, he's the guy that he's your bad guy antagonist. He's so good. And so in this one, like as the older I get, the more they say you cheer on villains when you're a kid, and when you're older, you understand them.
Yeah.
And so then now we move on to the newest.
2049.
Now we move on to the newest one that kind of follows along many, many years later. They kind of pick up with our boy, Mr. Dreamy, Ryan Gosling, who with what's his name? The big, huge, strong dude that's in Stuber. Why can't I think his name right now? He's in
Dave Bautista.
Bautista, dude, can act, man.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's good in this one too.
First, isn't he only in it for 10, 15 minutes?
Just at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's just basically about these robots that are brought into the world with AI, and they have a life expectancy to them. And the ones that go past it, they have what are called Blade Runners, who go to take them out of
retirement,
which
was
they're killing them, and these robots who don't know they're robots. Some of them don't know they're robots. They just want to live.
Yeah.
And so to know that you have a shelf life, you know what I mean, has to be.
And that was Harrison Ford's character in the first one.
In the first one, and now you come in the second one, and now that's what Gosling's doing again, doing the same kind of thing. But then through what happens through the movie is he eventually has to go track down Harrison Ford and what's he been doing and why did he go disappear, because it all comes up and because you're kind of in the middle of it, but I just want
I've seen it and I've seen 2049, so I know.
So the question I'm going to pose to you, because that was the homework, and this is what is Harrison Ford.
Is he a
symbiote?
Is he a replicant?
Is he a replicant
or a human? They leave it open.
They leave it open.
Yeah, so
they don't answer that,
and I'll have to get back to you once I see it again, because I remember watching it and I thought that it seems pretty heavy-handed that they're making him a replicant, but it does. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I just because I know the filmmaker and I know the reason.
Denis Villeneuve.
And you don't go back and keep trying to fix your movie that he calls his most complete work is Ridley Scott does is that director's cut, the
final cut.
Yeah, that's his favorite movie that he's done. His most complete work is what he calls it. So I don't think you keep going back unless there's some element of the movie that didn't come across that he was hoping to have come across. And I think he doesn't answer it, and he alludes to it, and that's all he wants. I think the answer isn't yes or no. I think the answer is simply to put it in your head.
Yeah,
that was the objective, not to answer it, and then to let you, the audience, answer it for yourself.
So then Denny kind of takes that and kind of goes with it as well.
Yeah. And it lost so much money.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that Blade Runner in itself wasn't a box office hit as it is.
Yeah.
And it's such an odd movie.
Yeah.
It's not one. It's a
so good.
It's a
I think
mystery.
I like it more now
yeah.
at 43 than I did at 23 for sure.
It's a mystery. It's a detective movie.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of. There's not much exciting things going on.
There's an element of shoot 'em up bad guy.
Yeah.
Cops and robbers.
In the end, yeah, in the Dust Bowl. And
well, he has. Well, that's what you're going through right now, isn't there? There was 4 of them that he had to go kill, and that's what the first one's about. Is him killing the 4
replicants.
Yeah,
and kind of tie it back to 1917. This is where Roger Deakins won his
1917.
Yeah, where he won 1917 won Roger Deakins.
I know the new Blade Runner is like it's 1970. I thought it was a later date than
it's
that.
2019. Well, the Blade Runner takes place in 2019.
Yep, sure
but
does. And how crazy though, because I don't mean to cut you off, but how crazy that back then his version of what the streets are going to look like with big, things of coke on the sides of the wall, and that's really what the cars aren't floating, but that's what the buildings look like.
Yeah, and I kind of go on that is like the CGI isn't bad in the original Blade Runner.
It's practical.
Yeah, so I was like noticing like the cars are like flying around. It's like, this doesn't look terrible. Like it doesn't look like it came out in the 80s.
And I'll watch Edward James Olmos. He's one of those guys. I'll watch him do anything, dude.
But
I love that dude.
And the reason why I unintentionally did it, but this is where Roger Deakins won his first best cinematography.
Finally,
he obviously did Blade Runner. He obviously did 1917 this year, but where he's going to win it again. But Blade Runner 2049, awesome, beautiful.
Yeah.
There's so many colors, so many things.
It's gorgeous. Can't wait for Dune. I can't wait.
Is Roger Deakins also doing that one?
I don't know if I don't know enough about it. I probably should know that, but I know that they've wrapped and even though that movie lost a buttload of money, they're guaranteeing him at least the 2 versions of Dune. So like he gets 2 more movies and none of his movies have made any money. So I mean, see, that's exciting. That's why I'm excited about this stuff like that you get to. Like Lighthouse, the guy that that made Lighthouse, he got to make an art house movie that's black and white. That they know that's not going to make any money, even though, what did I say? It's encouraging to see that they're allowing people to make Lighthouse rather than Fast and Furious 47. Even though it would take 47 Lighthouses to make as much money as Fast and the Furious 47. So it's nice to see them getting to be able to make the movies, but if we don't watch them, they'll go away, and that's why whether or not you like the Wachowskis, brothers now sisters, nobody watched their Jupiter Ascending, and they're like, well, it didn't make. And I'm like, yeah, but if you don't at least give them a place, then that's all we're gonna get is reboots. That's all we're gonna get is sequels. We're only gonna get superhero movies. You gotta find a place for these Dunes and Lighthouse and Peanut Butter Falcons, and you just have to, or else this is the problem I have. There's so many good movies, but the movies that were picked for best are not exciting to me. They're not original to me. They're not the new, like there's no new faces. There's no energy, no excitement, nothing. Dude, if they would have just brought in for best supporting actor and put in someone like Zach Gottsagen, or a female director, just one, like out of the entire show, just one of those things that went, whoa, I think it would have gone a long way.
He to kind of tie back to Dune real quick. The director, the cinematographer is going to be Greg Fraser, who is known for he was the cinematographer for Star Wars Rogue One.
Never heard of it.
Zero Dark 30.
Yep, never heard of it.
Vice.
Never heard of it. No, that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive, actually.
Foxcatcher.
Yeah, which is great. Do you know Foxcatcher at all?
I know the story of it.
Probably
but
before you started.
I watched, I think, a 30 for 30
documentary?
A 30 for 30 on
Yeah,
it.
and
But
see,
I know the story, and
I
it's
was gonna
Steve
say,
Carell.
Because I know that's why the show kind of evolved is the fact that because I would be doing all of this the same thing. I'd watch all these movies and nobody else would watch them with me. And then all of a sudden, you started like not only paying attention to these movies, then all of a sudden you'd come with me, and then we're at the art house theaters watching A Shape of Water. I'm like, well, dude, if you're gonna watch these movies, like, let's start talking about them. But back before Foxcatcher was a movie. Steve Carell played the lead character, and it's if you don't know anything about that movie, it's a 2.5, nearly 3-hour movies, and it'll bore the hell out of you.
Yeah.
But if you actually know what's going on. And it has Utah ties to it. The wrestlers from Utah went to BYU.
Yep.
It's fascinating.
And
True
to
story.
kind of tie a bow on this guy. He also was the director of photography for Lion, which is one of my favorite movies.
Which one?
Lion.
Lion was awesome.
Lion's great.
Dude, Lion was so good.
Yeah,
that was another one of those movies where I'm like, someone's like, oh, just give me something. I'm all, Lion. What? Lion. What's it about? Kid gets lost
and
ends up in Australia.
It's great.
It's
awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love Lion. But yeah, so let's we're already there. So let's
it's time. That's good. That's fun. That's a good transition from there because now I keep trying to stop myself and I keep kind of going. But yeah, it's when we got in our last 20 minutes, we can go through these. The Oscars obviously came out. Obviously, it's something that we need to talk about, and then we won't talk about it for 3 more weeks, other than trying to catch up on the. I think
some movies. Yeah.
There's only a few left, and now I'm getting down to like the actresses. The actresses that were in. Bombshell and stuff like that. I'm getting into.
I want to bring up this point, and I heard it on a podcast, and we'll get into the Oscars and. This director that I listen to, he's a black man, and his whole point against all these movies is that the movies that are highlighting African Americans are what you expect them to highlight them for. So they're going to be like either historical slavers. Yeah. So, Harriet, for an example.
My name is Dolomite.
They got to be, well, not even Dolomite, but like you got to be, you got to be.
Because that one was actually really fun.
But like in the history of like all these
Last
actors,
Black Man in San Francisco.
All these movies in history of the Oscars, the people that are winning, it's either they're the supporting character, Muhammad, what's his budget from last year, who won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
And then
it's the same issue the women have.
12 Years a Slave is another one. Who's a slave who won, right? And it's all these movies that like, and their whole point of being is like, they should be recognizing. No, Eddie Murphy did a great job just as a portraying like a famous character in their community that they all who was beloved in the black community, and then also completely ignoring Lupita Nyong'o, who's one of the greatest performances of the year.
You can't tell me that she wasn't at least on that list. You can argue and say, well, the best actress, because I think a best actress award is stupid anyways.
Yeah.
I think the nomination is enough, but to say this person's better than this person's stupid, and to split it up between men and women in the first place is stupid. I just recently went back and watched that because it came out on HBO a couple of months ago. She kills it.
Yeah, and it's like the whole stigma. It's like it's a horror movie, so it's taboo for like, and they expanded the Academy Awards. I think it's like 7,000 people vote for it now. I bet you like 5,000 people are still like 60-plus-year-old white people, but like. There's like 2,000 other people that they added last year that are fairly young, ethnic, different minority groups.
But I'm sure what his issue is the same problem a lot of the women have is it's like it's not about those movies that don't need those movies do need to be recognized, but it's just like you're not considering putting anyone. There's no heavy roles that you see for the women if
you're looking at the men, the one that's going to win, like for an example, is primarily Joaquin Phoenix is going to win for Joker, and Judy's she's kind of Renee Zellweger is kind of running away with this, but it's a live action, it's a real story, but you don't get those moments of like people recognizing that's what Lupita Nyong'o did for us, like that was an awesome performance, but it's a horror movie. So they're ignoring it. Whereas Joker,
they do the same thing to comedies too.
Dolomite is my name.
They'll kill those. They'll completely disregard a comedy for what they've done. Just simply like Booksmart got completely ignored.
Yeah,
Like, just stuff like that. And it's just like, why? Because it's a comedy? That somehow it's inferior to...
And there's also the backings of, like, this is, it's also a money thing.
It is a money
like,
thing, yeah.
Studios are definitely backing you. They're higher.
And they're paying a lot of money for it. There's a whole campaign behind it. You don't just get nominated for an Oscar without a campaign.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but that's how it is.
Which is why I have a problem with our local Utah Film Awards. Is same thing. I'm like, I hate that you have to pay to be nominated. They're like, the Oscars do it, and I'm like, okay, first of all, stop. Don't say that. I understand why they pay for the Oscars. I don't understand why they're paying to do, like, I just think it would do a lot of service. Because could you imagine if there was actually some kind of team out there that actually went and did the work to try to figure out the best 5 actors in a full feature?
Yeah.
And not because they were paid to go watch this movie.
Yeah.
Like, the realisticness of the logistics of it, nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So I understand that too, a part of it as well. So let's go through.
Performance, we'll start here. Performance by an actress in a leading role.
Leading role.
So the 5 that are Cynthia Erivo in Harriet.
I haven't seen that.
Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story.
Saw it.
Saoirse Ronan, Little Woman.
It's on my little short list.
Charlize Theron in Bombshell and Renee Zellweger. It doesn't matter who else gets nominated here. Renee's going to win it.
Yeah,
but
so it doesn't matter.
I and it depends where you're going to put her. Is and we had this conversation last week. Is Lupita a leading role or is she a supporting actress?
Yeah, but that's
or she both.
Well, that's the crap part about it is when they ignore stuff like that because she was so good because she did play 2 parts. I think that it should descend because she was basically dueling supporting roles.
Yeah,
but she's the movie.
Yeah,
she
I agree.
is the movie.
She's the leading role,
and she should have been here. And Charlize Theron, I can't see her as anything other than. Did you see Monster?
I've not seen it, but I've heard about it.
If you want to see a chick throw down, dude, she's so good in that. That movie's messed up, but Charlize Theron's all right.
And I can't. And I remember
Scarlett's pretty good in Marriage Story, and I don't like Marriage Story, but
Cynthia. And I haven't seen Harriet, but I have a hard time thinking that she's gonna be better than Lupita in Us.
Better than nobody could be. No, if you're telling me who's better than then Lupita is by far my favorite. But who did the best acting work? Harriet. I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to see it. Little Women I have to go see just because Grandma likes it, and that's on my list. And then I'm gonna see Judy just because she's gonna win. Yeah, so I will. So I'm only down to a few movies left, and some I won't. I just know I won't get to, and Harriet is one that won't.
All right, let's move to performance by an actress in a supporting role. Kathy Bates. I was really happy that she got nominated.
Yeah.
Laura Dern in Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson, Jojo Rabbit. Florence Pugh in Little Women and Margot Robbie in Bombshell.
How cool is Scarlett's nominated for
both? Double, right?
That's rad.
But here's the thing: is that J-Lo got snubbed.
Yeah,
and a lot of people, and it goes down to that argument I just had is that it's just one of those taboo things that people are. I doubt most people in the committee watch Hustlers.
Yeah,
and the fact that we're not going to nominate a stripper.
Yeah,
like what? Why would we do that?
So and I don't even want to talk about snubs on that one because I don't honestly. But I actually want to talk about a different story. So Sandman, who got snubbed, that whole movie, Uncut Gems.
We'll get there.
But this has to do with Kathy Bates.
Okay.
So
that was a cool interaction.
So Sandman just basically said, thanks for everyone. I appreciate it. After he found out, I don't have to wear suits anymore, whatever he posted on Twitter to be funny. And then Kathy Bates comes on.
Well, because he talked about
because he said congratulations to everyone to Mama, from
Waterboy.
And then Kathy Bates comes back on top of it, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but she's all like, you the goat. Yeah. And I'm not talking about the thing that's in our house.
Like what we had for dinner. I thought that was
cool was that?
That was a fun interaction.
Yeah, and so that just gave me, I already am a huge Kathy Bates fan. Yeah. I love Kathy Bates, but that just makes, people, the good people, dude. I love good people.
You haven't seen Bombshell yet, or Richard Jewell yet, have you?
No, and I've watched the first 20 minutes.
Okay. I really like Richard Jewell, when you kind of go back to the Golden Globes, obviously Scarlett didn't get nominated for the Golden Globes for Jojo Rabbit.
She gonna get snubbed for both?
Well, I was just shocked that because I always thought that J-Lo was the second runner-up to Laura Dern.
And now she's not even in this. So who goes to the top of the list on that?
Well, Laura Dern's going to win.
You think so?
Because, she won.
Yeah, but the Golden Globes don't necessarily. That's the thing. If you actually go back and watch what was nominated for the Gold, they really don't have a lot of correlation with one another.
I know, and there's fewer people. There's like 60 people that vote for the Golden Globes, whereas there's 7,000 people that vote for the Academy Awards. I just look at this list. Excuse me.
No, unforgivable.
Margot Robbie.
She's okay.
She's fine. It's a hard role to be, and it's. But yeah, I think Florence Pugh. My sister loves Florence Pugh. I think she had a great year, by the way, Florence Pugh. But
dude, I can't even talk about Jojo Rabbit with you because you haven't seen it yet, dude.
I'm waiting.
Jojo Rabbit. Still, out of all the movies I've seen this year, and including like the ones that are my favorite, Jojo Rabbit is still has the best payoff out of all the movies done. There is the way that he set that up, the fact that he not got away with it, but he was able to make a movie about a young little Nazi trying to be the youngest, best little Nazi he can be. And then all of a sudden, through watching the movie, and I'm not giving anything away, you realize how talented Waititi is, and he can make Thor Ragnarok. And on top of making Hunt of the Wilder People, and he makes it in like the same movie. So you go from like this world of like, oh, okay, that's cute, to all of a sudden like the realism of they're in the middle of a war zone, and like when stuff really starts blowing up and it's not funny anymore, dude. I don't want to give anything away. Anyone that's listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. It has the best payoff, and it is a complete kick to the gut when it happens.
Yep.
And you'll know immediately, and you'll go, holy crap. Bow down to Waititi.
Moving on. Let's quickly.
Animated feature short? Who you got?
Well, animated feature. This is an animated feature film. Is I'm surprised that Frozen 2 got bumped.
Yeah, right?
For Klaus.
Which
is the Netflix movie about Santa Claus.
Dude, Duke Kaboom should have his own movie.
Okay, then.
And How to Train Your Dragon, I don't know.
I wanted to win. It's not.
No.
It'll probably go to.
You think this
Toy
Missing
Story 4.
Link's going to win?
I think Toy Story 4 is going to win.
Too. I was just
let's talk about cinematography nominees. You got The Irishman.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Joker.
Not so beautiful.
The Lighthouse.
Black and white.
1917.
Beautiful.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Beautiful.
I think Roger Deakins wins this one.
I do too. And he gets, and after so many years of being snubbed, it would be cool to see him win another one. I'm on the same page with you.
We don't need to talk about costume design.
No,
nominees.
documentary.
Directing nominees.
Yep.
So The Irishman, Martin Scorsese, Joker, Todd Phillips, 1917, Sam Mendes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino, and then Parasite, Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, that's in my queue. That's the next I'm watching. That's my next one I'm watching after I get done with The Circle.
So I've actually seen 4 of the 5 of these here. I haven't seen Parasite yet. Obviously, I need to catch that. But
and it's about something completely different, by the way, than what I thought it was about. You hear Parasite, and you and his history of what Bong Joon-ho other movies. I thought it was going to be another
like a horror thing. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Good to know. So, Joker, I have yet to go back and watch it.
I have 4 times,
and I just
Todd Phillips didn't. There was nothing. There was no like steady hand of Todd Phillips that made that movie what it was. And I know we're getting up against it, but Todd Phillips was not the best director. He had a actor and a crew that made a movie around him, I think.
Yeah, there are other movies that out there that could have been nominated here.
Yeah, like
Saoirse Ronan.
I just talked about Peanut Butter Falcon.
Greta Gerwig,
the Safdie brothers.
Yeah. Greta Gerwig for Little Women.
Like any one of these other ones, like just one of them, dude.
Yep.
And Quentin Tarantino, I think Quentin or Martin Scorsese wins.
Yeah, I think Quentin wins this one.
I think this is the year. I think this is the year Quentin finally wins rather than Best Writer. I think he wins actual awards this year. And it's not his best movie,
right?
but he's a really good director. It's a really good movie, but it's not his best.
And then 9 motion picture of the years. So best picture.
Did you go through lead actor? Yeah, you want to do that after?
Oh, I guess it's lower down here.
We just missed the
animated short films. Let's go, Hair Love.
Lead actor, you got Antonio Banderas in Pain and Glory.
Yep.
Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Adam Driver in Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix in Joker. Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes. Still haven't seen Two Popes. And Leonardo again. That's you'll keep hearing me say this. Leo was really good in Once Upon a Time, but I've seen him do better. Adam Driver, I seen him do better this year. Joaquin Phoenix is the one who's going to win it, and then the Antonio Banderas. Just I'm curious because there's Pain and Glory is nowhere else, but so he has to be really really good in this, right?
Yeah, Pain and Glory. Yeah, I agree. Well, because there's
I can tell you what Jonathan Pryce looks like in Two Pipes. I guarantee you, I know. I can guess his performance.
The lead actor, from what I understand, was very packed. I mean, there's a lot of people that could have been. Adam, obviously, Sandler could have been in there.
How many brothers have won Best Actor Oscars?
You mean brothers?
Because I guess Casey Affleck's not actually Joaquin's. Never mind. I was thinking of, I don't know why, but River Phoenix is Joaquin's. Yeah, well, that doesn't accept their right out. It's just something that popped in my head. I'm like, wait, no. They're best friends, not.
No, yeah, it's Joaquin's got this one in the bag.
I think so, but. Everybody's such a pain in the butt. I love what a pain in the butt he is.
Yeah, he's kind of just.
Best picture. We'll wrap it up.
Well, let's do a supporting role real fast.
Oh yeah. See now let's go back. Yeah.
Tom Hanks, Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci,
the cast of Irishmen. Why don't they just say the cast of Irishmen?
Right. And Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Brad Pitt's going to win.
Tom Hanks doesn't need to be, and I love Tom Hanks. He doesn't deserve to be on this list. And as I keep saying, biggest snub, and I'm going to go on record. The biggest snub, in my opinion, of all of them, even though as much as I've been the Safdie brothers, and biggest snub, the biggest, there should be some women and there should be some people of color. Yes. But the biggest snub, hands down, Zach Gottsagen for his work in Peanut Butter Falcon, the man with Down syndrome, who just not only does he just say his line and hit his mark, he carries that film.
Yeah.
He is the heart of that film. He ad-libs in that film. He deserved some recognition for what he did in that film.
Yeah.
And that's my snub to 2020 is a young man with Down syndrome who, in my opinion, was the best supporting actor of the year.
That's a valid point. I mean, you're entitled to that.
But Brad Pitt's going to win.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's going to win. Best motion picture of the year. So we got Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. Who wins this?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You think so?
Yep.
Save. I wouldn't be surprised if 1917 pulled it up.
Yeah, it's a possibility. 1917 is the one that could come up and steal it. Irishman could come up and steal it, but it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to lose.
I think so too.
But like you said, we talk about my post. I assume this is what you meant. I just basically on our Facebook page, I said, here's column A, and then I put another 9 movies in column B, and I just said which column, and I'm not saying which one I like better. I just said which column would you rather watch?
Yeah,
and it had the John Wicks, and it had the like some of the other movies. You're Blind by the Light,
yeah.
And that's why I included that because that was one of your Uncut Gems, which was one of my favorites. Like I put those movies. Which list would you rather watch? And I was actually fascinated how many column A's came back.
Yeah, I think column A.
And I'm like, give me your work. Why?
I think column A was more of a popular vote, mainly because of the movies on there. It's just kind of more of a
right. And I guess that just shows what a nerd I am.
Well, there isn't as many hard watches on column A.
Like just like Ford versus Ferrari. Over 2 hours. Irishman over 2 hours. Joker over 2 hours. 1917 over 2 hours. Once Upon a Time over 2 hours. And my issue with them is what I was trying to say is Ford versus Ferrari. Who directed it?
It was
James Mangold.
Who
did Logan.
Yep.
Who did 310 to Yuma. Who
Yep.
did so good. Ford versus Ferrari. Good movie. Solid movie.
Yep.
It's not his best. Irishman. This is not the best Scorsese.
I don't think it's the point, though.
That's why that's why I wanted some fresh, some plug in here. 1917, not the best Sam Mendes movies. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, not the best Quentin Tarantino film. And so that was my issue. Was these are good movies, and I'm not saying they're not good movies. This so easily could have just spiced something up by putting in any one of these. Put something in there to just change the status. And this is the year they could have got away with it, where before it's like, I feel like they just put that in there to be controversial, too. Yeah. But this is the year they could have really put one of those movies in there, and it would have been justified.
Yeah.
This was the year to do it, and I think they let me down. And there's 9, and they could have done the 10th anyways. They could have left all of them on there and just added the 10th.
Yeah, but no.
Nope,
just to piss you off.
And so, but I do like these movies. And so Once Upon a Time is going to win. even though Jojo Rabbit out of this list is my favorite.
All right.
We doing
Let's do some challenges.
Sorry, I did. I feel like I did it in a good mood though.
No, it was good. It was a very popular post.
And when I mean this episode,
Oh,
even
yeah.
though I'm very upset, I'm not upset. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good place. I just felt out of all their own, they could have got out of their own way and solved a lot of their own controversy. And this was the year to do it because there were so many good movies.
Yep.
So, all right, what movie you gonna
Hit me with yours first.
yeah, see, and that's what I was hoping you give me first because I really think I'm gonna put since I'm on the spot, I'm gonna do because I brought it up last time because I almost did it with Chef. We're gonna do the Hugh Jackman a robot battle.
I love Real Steel.
Real Steel, baby.
That's a good one.
Dude, I love that movie, and that's kind of because when you went back and said it doesn't really hold up, I'm now curious because now my son's older, so I didn't have that connection like I did with, but because my son was about that age, I didn't have that. So now I'm kind of curious because I kind of have that same sentiment with Real Steel. So now I want to go back now, and
That's a good one.
so Real Steel's my pick.
I like Real Steel.
I do too. I hope it holds up.
Good point. The movie that keeps coming to my head that I want to catch back up and watch is La La Land.
All right.
I've been really wanting to rewatch La La Land.
City of Stars.
And it was one of my favorite movies that year. So I think I'm going La La Land.
I'll watch some La La Land, dude.
All right.
I'll cry and call you and go, you bastard, what did you do?
Let's get out of here.
You bastard. Hi, Mom.